Ladies and gentlemen, over 500 schools across 10 regions in the country, it's here. It's the final. Ladies and gentlemen, who will be the next great debater of the Great Debaters Contest Season 8? I am your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperantia Kapanga. And the motion that will give us our champions today is: debt limits should be put in place to control debt burden in developing countries.
Well, in the proposition are the mighty gentlemen from Kapsabet Boys High School who promised to give Loreto Limuru girls a run for their money.
Well, in the opposition, obviously, are the ladies from Loreto Limuru Girls High School. Let's wait and see who puts up a better fight today. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Henrik Ibsen. In the play A Doll's House, through a character Torvald Helmer. On the 3rd page of that play, Torvald Helmer tells his wife Nora, no debt, no borrowing. There cannot be freedom or any beauty in a home life that depends on borrowing and debt. And I, in agreement with him, stand here to propose this motion that states that debt limits should be put in place in developing countries to control the debt burden. So what is a debt limit? This is a legislative mechanism restricting the total amount that a country can borrow. This is in terms of international borrowing, internal and external borrowing. Well, which countries are these that we call developing countries? Well, a developing country is a country with little industrial and economical activity and where people have low income. What is a debt burden? Well, a debt burden is a large amount of money that a country owes to another and which they find very difficult to repay. Very difficult to repay. Now, according to Eurosenate.org, we look at China's debt and the countries owing China. Well, I'm not a lover of history as such, but my little colonial knowledge about colonialists is that the first step of these colonial things, they take charge of your resources. Then they take charge of everything in your country. Then they be the one dictating what happens and what does not. Neocolonization has become an issue related to these debts, which we have been talking over and over again. As I have said, according to Eurosenate.com, in an article dated 6th September 2018, Zambia have had to surrender the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation to the Chinese government. Why? They were unable to pay the debts that they have, the debts they owe China. Why? They don't have a debt limit. So the work of the government is to borrow, borrow, and borrow without knowing that there is a limit to their borrowing. Well, in an article as well, dated March 7th this year, 2018, Sri Lanka, because of a more than 1 billion debt that was overdue, they had to surrender their port to the Chinese government. Why? Because they don't have a debt limit. So how much persuasion, therefore, do we need to agree and propose to this motion that states debt limits should be put in place in developing countries to reduce debt burden? Thank you.
Proposer, you have 3 minutes to present your case.
An article from Star, 11 a.m., December 4th, 2014. And it started, "It is a stupid thing that should be eliminated. What is it? Debt ceilings." Before I go on, let me introduce myself. My name is Melanie Fain, Loreto High School, Limuru, here to oppose the motion that states debt limits should be put in place to control debt burden on developing countries. Debt limits, commonly known as debt ceilings. These are restrictions on how much a government can legally borrow from external sources. Should means something is very necessary, so it has to be made. Put in place means to install. To control is to regulate. Debt burden is the impact of borrowing public finance. Then developing countries are those such as Kenya, Tanzania. You see these beautiful countries, those ones. Now, back to what I was saying. It is a stupid thing that should be eliminated. Now, was this guy mad when he said that? I don't think so. This is what I'm trying to say. It is a lie. They just came here and they lied to us about money. About money. They told us that debt limits, no, that's not how it should, no, debt limits is not the way to go when it comes to controlling debts. How are they lying to us? Look at this. Let's start with the US. It has the largest debt of $143 trillion. From Quora, 19th Dec 2017, Suraj Somani, a business analyst at Axis Bank, states that debt ceiling has no significance because it can always be raised. I thought it was a restrictive measure. No, it can always be raised. In fact, USA has raised its debt ceiling 74 times. We come back to a developing country, our beautiful motherland, Kenya. Currently, the debt limit, yes, we do have a debt limit. Are you shocked? There was no impact. We didn't even feel it. The debt limit right now is at 1.2 trillion. And you know what they want to do? They've given a petition as sourced from the Star, the same article on December 4th, 2014, that they want to raise it from 1.2 trillion to 2.5 trillion. So in the end, we will always keep borrowing. Debt limits have no impact on controlling. That's why it is easily raisable. It's as easy as calling all MPs somewhere in Nairobi and you say, you know what, we need more money. So what do? We raise this debt limit. It is not a restrictive measure. It's just a blinder to make Kenyans keep quiet about complaining, oh, regulate that burden, oh, it's too much, oh yes. Then the government comes up like the hero and tells us what? They put a debt limit. It is not a restrictive measure. No, it is not. If it can be raised at any time, then it's not something that it is a big blinder. Brookings.edu said, the problem with debt ceiling is that it attempts to stop the debt without directly and easing the process that is required to generate the debt. But that's something my fellow opposers will delve into. The point is, debt limits is just a blinder to make us not see the whole point that debt burdens will still be there. So let's not even fight this. Let's not even fight for having debt limits. Big blinder. Thank you.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
My name is Johnson Aboge from Kapsabet High School, and I would like to reply to my honorable opponents. You are saying that US has the largest amount of debt, but tell me, which country right now is asking US to pay back its debt? They are borrowing internally, not externally. That is the difference. And also you have told us about the current debt limit of Kenya to be at 1.2 trillion, but remember that as at June 2014, it was raised to 2.5 trillion. And as at August this year, the MPs are proposing that it be raised to 6 trillion Kenya shillings. Please check your facts. Also from Quora. Quora is a question and answer website, not a verifiable source. I recently was looking at whatever we live nowadays called memes. And I saw a meme of a guy kneeling down, proposing to his girlfriend and saying that, my love for you is like that of Kenya to foreign loans. It will never end. But this foreign money that we usually borrow, it ends up in corruption, as evidenced by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Chair, Dr. Philip Kinisu. He says that Kenya loses a third of its state budget to corruption every year. That is around 600 billion shillings every year. We are trying to hide this debt like a boil under the armpit, but sooner than later it will burst and emit a foul smell. This is bringing a burden to the citizens, borrowing recklessly. Another thing about these debt ceilings is that it makes our minds as a country to be myopic. Myopic meaning that we are short-sighted. We are able to pride in African proverbs, and one of them says that if you don't want a dog to bite you, give it a bone. It will just bark. Right now, the Chinese are feeding us with debt so that we cannot disturb them and see that they're trying to recolonize us, like the European powers did it. And on 7th June 2017, Zambia arrested 31 of Chinese illegal miners in Zambia. And when they arrested them, China said that release our people or else we'll sanction you because you have our debts. That is like they're trying to control us. And if you don't put a ceiling to this, we'll be too sorry. Placing a debt limit also makes the citizens of a country to work hard so that they don't reach the level of borrowing to reach that debt ceiling. They'll know very well the repercussions of a surpassing debt is very detrimental to the economy. That's that will be able to disregard our love for SDG number 8 of economic growth. We want economic growth, and we must put a debt ceiling so that our money that we have in our current budget, much of it does not go to loan repayment, but rather it goes to useful development projects. That is only possible if we put a debt ceiling to whatever we have. Need I say more? Thank you.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
From Loreto High School, Limuru, Sally Modhoni strongly opposing the motion that says that limits should be put in place to control debt burdens on developing countries. It is quite interesting that my opponents are dwelling on the fact of the consequences of actually having a lot of debt, which I don't think will be solved by putting a debt limit. Our problem is not borrowing. Our problem is how we manage the money that you've borrowed, which cannot simply be solved by telling us that you can't borrow past this amount. Because frankly, even if we borrow that money that is within our debt limit, as long as we are using it for deadweight expenses, which are expenses that cannot generate income to pay themselves, we are doing nothing. So the problem is not debt limit. It's not how much we are borrowing. The problem is how we are using it and how we are paying it back. So when we are saying that debt limits, when we oppose this motion that debt limits should not be put in place, we are in check, because it does not matter how much we borrow as long as we are using it well. Debt limits actually help foster international cooperation. You are quick to point out that in fact, we are borrowing from the United States of America. In my opinion, I actually think that's a point, because we are having cooperation between us and Donald Trump and his government, which is in fact bringing American investors to the nation who investment which will create more job opportunities for the common mwananchi. So when you tell me that I should limit the amount I am borrowing, how is it helping me? In addition to that, most of the money that is borrowed is actually used in development. Look at the standard gauge railway, and if you came here by road, I'm sure you used the Thika superhighway. All that was built because of debt limit. So should we put in place, not debt limit, but because of money raised from borrowing, should we put in place debt limit, we will not have such infrastructure in our country. We will not have good roads. We will not have a standard gauge railway. Debt limit is not the answer, simply because as long as we are borrowing little or much, but the institutions that are still using the money are the same, it does not matter how much we use, because be it a shilling, 1,000 shillings, a trillion or a billion, we will still be in the same situation we are in. That is why we're saying US has the highest debt burden, yet it is still okay. Why? Because its money is being used in the correct way. So when you tell us that putting debt limits so as to control debt burden in developing countries, we are telling you it is a lie. And it is a big lie, because despite the debt limits, as long as we are not working towards paying our current debts, we will still have the debt burden. And that is where we'll have failed. Thank you.
The proposers have been asked, how do the debt limits put in place that can be stretched time and again solve the problem of debt burden in developing countries? The opposers have been asked, if not debt limits, then what solution are they offering to us? Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to respond.
We have to understand that when there are these debt limits, a country will have decisions such that when they cross that debt limit, such and such austerity measures, which are measures aimed at improving the economy of the country, will be taken. And also, the debts borrowed, accountability and responsibility of the debts should be put in place so that corrupt individuals are punished and the debt are not in waste. If our opposers are telling us that we are simply telling lies, hook, line, and sinker. Then they should be giving us an example of a developing country which has developed due to debt. Think about that. A developing country which has developed due to debt. I'll only add one point here, that these debts, if they're not controlled, they will affect other programs of a nation. And I'm going to transfer you to history, according to www.history.com. 1968 to 1970, when China was not still a developed nation, there was what you call the China Agricultural Revolution, where all school institutions were shut down and all form of employment in the cities were banned, and everyone was taken to the countryside so that they could increase the economy of the country and pay the debts that they were then owing to the World Bank. Now, the schools are banned. Why were they banned? Because they borrowed more money than they could pay. So they decided, since agriculture was still their main source of income, then they should invest in it, pay the debt, and life continues on. These debt limits are going to help us. Remember, dating is addictive. So we simply have to put measures that will restrain us from over borrowing from other countries, and measures that will also help us from depending on foreign aid so much. Take an example of a country which has a higher rate of consumption than production and is still borrowing debts. What will happen to that country? We are developing nations, even as Kenya. We are still developing, and there are a lot of developing nations outside there in the world. But depending on debts and not natural resources that are found in the country, how will that help us if we are not focusing on the natural resources that we have in the country? Think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we developing nations are on the dinner table. The people we've borrowed from, they're right there sitting. The more you keep borrowing, they'll come biting. Thank you all. Otieno Otieno.
Third opposer, you have 3 minutes to respond to your question.
Fraser Wendy, opposer number 3, Loreto High School, Limuru. And the motion is debt limit should be put in place to control debt burden in developing countries. And the question was, what are the alternatives if we are saying we should not have debt limits? So now, we can reinvest the money. You can borrow some, then some you can reinvest so that it gains profits, and then you continue going higher, rather than squandering the money into your pockets and stashing them into public accounts. Number 2, we can use it in a way that can actually earn us revenue. SGR, what is SGR to you? What is SGR to you? SGR is a product of borrowing. Actually, we borrowed before we can build that SGR. But right now, it's a means of transport. As people are traveling, they're paying money, and that money is what is paying our debt. Or you haven't heard of SGR? May I know? So now, to my first point, I love my country. You know what? I just love Kenya. Kenya is a really dynamic country, and I love Kenya most because it is a real proof today that debt limits we should not actually have debt limits if we are not to stand in the way of development. So now, these countries are the countries that have debt ceiling. According to Investment Frontier, October 13, 2013, that is USA, Denmark, Malaysia, Kenya, and currently the debt limit set up at that time was 1.2 trillion shillings. Then we have Poland, Pakistan, and Namibia. I said I love my country. So we are going back to Kenya. Melanie left you at 2.5 trillion increase in that limit. But now let me tell you. According to the Star, December 1st, 2018, today, actually 20 minutes ago, I've just been counting here. According to, the Star, December 1st, 2018, today, just 20 minutes ago, Kenya's public debt actually stands at 4.884 trillion. That is like 56.4% of Kenya's gross domestic product. Now, it has risen from 42.8% in 2008 So what's that difference? You can do the math. That's a difference like 13.6 trillion. Like, we're just increasing. Now, the next thing. So Kenya has surpassed its debt limit of 1.2 trillion. That was way back in 2013. How many years have passed so far? Like 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. You can do the math. Kenya has done that. Why? Because of development. And our president continues to tell us, let us not be illiterate. Let us not be people who only see the negative in something that is supposed to help us. Let us see the positive. And finally, I'd like to tell you, debts actually help us develop. How many countries in Africa have SGR? No one. Oh, there are some, but there are very few, and Kenya is among them. Thank you.
Proposers, you have 1 minute to make a final statement.
Just a quick reminder to what the opponents, SGR currently is facing the ticket scandal of those Chinese who have been arrested. And also, its revenues gained per month, it will take us more than 200 years so that it can repay that loan. So it's not economically feasible. Now, just a quick reminder for those people who have read the book Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. We read of a man called Unoka, who was the father of Okonkwo, a very great debtor. And on the wall of his house, he had a chart like this, drawn using chalk. And when he could come to his house and you have this person owing him this kind of debt, he will tell you that, why are you coming to disturb me? Yet this one has not come. That is giving him a very bad name. And just like King Solomon says, a good name is better than wine. We need to leave a good name of no debts to the future generation. If the dragon in Beijing, our mighty lenders, sneezes, East Africa will catch a very bad cold. Meaning that if our lenders decide to go against us, even in Kung Fu, we can't beat them. They'll beat us. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute for your final statement.
He said, it makes us myopic, debt limits, makes us short-sighted. We can't go beyond, but when they raise debt limit, that means our eyeball extends, it's called hypermetropia. There's nothing like short-sightedness there. No, this is a big lie to just cover our eyes and lie to us the government is taking care of the debt issue. It is a big lie. What we're trying to say is, for what? Debt limits should be put in place to control debt burden on developing countries. For what? This is a restrictive practice if there's a big leeway to continue increasing it or to go the other way, to use other alternatives. For what? I'll ask again. The best way to handle debt burdens is do it the US way. They use it well, invest it wisely, it will grow back, pay the same debts and still you develop your country. Debt limits is not necessarily the best way. It is just a big blinder, I will keep on saying. What is 74 times of increasing debt limit? And you still insist that it's a good restrictive practice? No. We'll finish with the same question. For what?
Congratulations to Loreto High School and to Kapsabet boys. It's no mean feat to get to the finals. I am very, very proud of the two teams represented, and you have done very, very well. There has been evidence of growth, progress. You know, some of you have become more articulate in, making your submissions, very good use of examples. One of the things that really impressed me across the board was the fact that you're not just, presenting facts, but you're able to critically look at those facts and use them to be able to defend your argument. And that, for me, is a very high level of synthesis. It's a level of critical thinking that we are missing. And I sit here and I'm just wowed by the next generation of leaders. I couldn't have debated this well when I was your age. And so, even if you're not the school that carries the day, please walk out of this place very proud of yourself because you've done very, very well in terms of, debating. Getting here is not easy, so no matter how it goes, you've done well. So please, can you clap for yourselves? So very impressed by the argument, the articulation, there was almost, I felt like I was watching a play at some point, very theatrical. What it shows me is that you're well read. Please keep reading. You will need it in future. And I just want to echo her words. We would want to see how do we progress this in the future. And if you see that no one is doing anything about you having a voice to say what you want to say, be the ones to start that revolution, isn't it? We've just said you live in a digital world. You already have a voice. The internet is available for you to say what you have to say in a positive, constructive way that continues to ensure that as Kenyans, we challenge ourselves to get the best out of our leaders and out of ourselves. So I wish the winners all the very best. And even though you don't come out the winner, you already are a winner. Like I say, very proud of you.
At this stage, what was expected of you was to ensure that you're able to understand what the motion is and be able to argue and come up with what your position is in a very compelling way. And that was what we were hoping to get from the team. Having said that, I realized that all of you did well. I think some of you improved very well. You are much better than you are the time that the debate before. And my challenge to you is that I can see you're improving. I can see then there are also areas of improving. Then how do you keep this momentum now that you're already going to be moving now to the next level? And everybody is also telling you, how are you going to harness this talent that you have that has catapulted you to where you are right now? How are you going to use it? How are you going to improve it and make it of relevance to the community at large? So for me, again, I think you're already winners. Whichever way the decision goes, you're already winners, and I'm proud of you. And I'm just challenging you. There's still more to be done. There's still areas of growth, and I encourage you to take them up.
For the finalists, we always say that you have been refined all the way. And so you are the best to be at that stage. And as my colleague has said, that all of you are winners. It's just a difference of marks, all right, which is understandable. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the good job. And from my end, it's well done. Put your hands together for the best female debater season 8. Great Debaters Contest goes to Melanie. A round of applause to you. Yes. It's you right there, Melanie. Please come. Judge Booker, please come closer. Come closer, please. Can I have the medal for the best female debater and the certificate? Please bring it forth. Congratulations. A round of applause to her as she gets the medal. Thank you so much. Beautiful, lovely, colorful, beautiful. That's the best female debater. Award her beautifully. Makofi tafadhali as she gets that. Thank you so much. And we agree she has been agiled. A very beautiful branded t-shirt courtesy of Brand Kenya. Makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali. Beautiful. The best male debater from the audience comes Aboge Johnson. Where are you? Oh, Aboge Johnson. My goodness, Lord. Beautiful. Very wonderful gentleman. Very creative. Very creative. I want to request Judge Minor to kindly come and award him. Makofi tafadhali. A round of applause to him. Beautiful, bro.
Now I'm running.
And of course, a beautiful branded t-shirt. I know this will take places. I request to see you branded. I don't know how you hold it. But this, no, don't worry. We'll hold it on your shoulder. Just there, that end, and that end. Beautiful, looks good. Makofi tafadhali. Let's appreciate the cake is being cut. It's being cut. Asante sana. Well done. Another round of cutting with the best debaters. Asante sana. Makofi tafadhali. One more time. The better club will get a better cake. You never know. Excellent. Asante sana. I request Judge Booker kindly come and award the medals to the third position. Please come closer right here. I think that's the patron. Round of applause to them as they get the medals kindly. Those are the medals for the third position. Well done, all the way from Mombasa. And they came and took the day. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much. Yes, take it in, take it in. Well done, well done. Well done, well done. Certificates as well. I want to request Fozia to kindly come and award the certificates. Fozia, please. Please come forward. Patron can just sit in here, right here. Just one each randomly. Yes, yes. Just receive one each. Absolutely. Makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Beautiful. All right, a round of applause as they receive the t-shirts. A round of applause, please. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. Each will get one for the students randomly. Receive one. If you get the green one, it's okay. If you get the blue one, it's okay. All that is yours. Take it home. Yes, I know. I know. We know we are in the digital world and you can find Blaze inside there. And finally, courtesy of Brand Kenya and Blaze, we have the check. 50,000 shillings. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Well done. Boys, please be around the check. Be around the check for the sake of the photo. Let's just join in. Let's just join in. Yes. Shikilieni, saidieni hapo. 50 is heavy. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's all pose for the photo. Makofi tafadhali. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. With a difference of 4%, I want to make the announcement. The girls and the boys, well done. At least there was equity all the way to the finals. Season 8 finalists, Great Debaters Contest, the winners with 78%. Put your hands together and everything together for Kapsabet High School. Kapsabet High School. A round of applause. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well done, well done, well done, well done. I know how it feels. Beautiful. Well done. Congratulations. They even go to the opponents, shake everybody's hand. It's all right, it's allowed, it's honest, it's wonderful. And well done, the red medals belong to Makofi tafadhali as they receive. Well done, well done, well done. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well done, completely wonderful season. The lights are also witnesses to that. The lights are also witnesses to that. You will receive the one for the school. Just pick randomly. You will check the name later. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. We love this session that we are having. Wonderful, wonderful. Patron. Then there are gift hampers. Gift hampers. I want to request Fozia to give the gift hampers. Hey, I see they look cool as well right there. Well done. This is very nice. This is very nice. This is very nice. Dr. Buka, it's all right. It's all right. Excellent, excellent. A round of applause to them. Makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali. Wow. All the way from the Rift, and they have come and picked it up. And then finally to the patron, you just don't go home empty-handed. It pays well, I tell you. Bwana Daniel, I see 250,000 shillings walking in. Makofi tafadhali, makofi tafadhali. Sorry, I forgot to mention it well. I see 250,000. That's a better way of placing it down. Judges, please come to the photo. Judges, all of you, please come to the photo so that we can have a beautiful session for this. A beautiful session for this. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Wapi makofi tafadhali. Of course, we cannot forget number 2 of the day, the ladies, the beautiful ladies. Please, winners, you can just step aside so you can give moral support to them. Put your hands together and appreciate Loreto Limuru. Wow, wow, beautiful girls. Come as you are, come as you are. It doesn't hurt the eyes, don't worry. I know we are all fond of the kuni one that hurts the eyes. This is a different one. And the patrons as well, a round of applause. Boys at the back, just pose. Just pose, be gentlemen, because you know the ladies are here, you remember? Thank you so much. For the medals, Judge Buka is going to award the medals. Beautiful medals for you. A round of applause to them as well, a round of applause to them. Congratulations. Well done. That was well done. It was a good fight. All the way from Kiambu. Just give them randomly. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, well done, well done. Well done, well done. Thank you so much. Yes, you have to look at the picture and smile, you know. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, pose, look at the photo, look at the picture man there. 3, 2, go. Thank you. Well done. And finally, to the best female debater of the day, Well done. You also got an extra medal and extra things. The awards are too many to hold. It's okay. It's okay. We understand. We understand. Makofi tafadhali to them as they receive them. I know when you see these tears, they're tears of joy. So we understand these moments sometimes are there. Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. And now for the trophy. A round of applause to first runners-up. We appreciate you. All the best. All the best. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Patricia, this is for you. 100,000 shillings. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Judges, make sure you are in the photo so that everybody can see us. Can you see us? Let me balance it on this other end. Yes. And I request the students who belong to this school to come. From us here, it is bye-bye for now. I want the host to come and close the show as we are all here at the front.
We've come to the end of the season. It's been quite a journey. You've had our winners, Kapsabet Boys High School, giving us quite the debate, and we hope that we will still carry the same kind of debate, not only through the television, but also through our social media platforms with the hashtag GDC for SDGs.
We would also like to appreciate all the principals of participating schools, the students, and even our sponsors, Blaze by Safaricom and Brand Kenya Board, for making this possible.
Dear viewers, remember, it does not end here. Please, season 9 is just round the corner, and we'll be back with a boom with the same intellectual and high-grade debates.
Indeed. For the students who will take part in season 9, one of your colleagues put it quite aptly. He said, "History is a good teacher, but those who are inclined to history stay frozen in time." That's Joe Matthew from Maranda High School. That's it for today. I have been your host, Esperancia Kapanga.
And I am Chris Boru. Catch you next time.